Now we start the investigations that needs to be done for heavy menstrual bleeding. CBC to assess her blood profile, right? And CBC is done in almost all patients complaining of heavy menstrual bleeding, because to rule out her hemoglobin level and blood profile. Then thyroid function test, if clinically indicated, if she has symptoms of exophthalmos, myxedema and goiter, etc. So thyroid function test, coagulation profile, PT, PTT and INR. Again, if clinically indicated, if the patient has bruises, complaints of frequent bleeding and has family history of bleeding disorder, or she has history of PPH, only then we go for coagulation profile. Transvaginal ultrasound, it is done if structural abnormalities are suspected, but it is also done with CBC to rule out any serious complication. And endometrial biopsy or outpatient hysteroscopy, it is only done when we have the following indications. The indications for endometrial biopsy or outpatient hysteroscopy is postmenopausal bleeding, endometrial thickness more than 4 millimeter on transvaginal ultrasound, the patient has heavy menstrual bleeding plus age of above 45 years, the patient has heavy menstrual bleeding with intermenstrual bleeding, treatment failure. If any of the one indication or three indications are seen, then we move to endometrial biopsy, right? What is the treatment for heavy menstrual bleeding? We start the treatment of the patient with tranexamic acid, right? Tranexamic acid inhibits fibrinolysis and it is an antifibrinolytic agent, so it is given. And the reduction in menstrual cycle is menstrual blood loss is up to 50%, okay? And it is safe, non-hormonal and non-contraceptives. But there are some disadvantages of given tranexamic acid. It is associated with increased risk of venous thrombosis and associated with leg cramps and minor GI upsets, right? But reduction in menstrual blood loss by 50%. NSAIDs are given, specifically mefenamic acid is given, which restores imbalanced endometrial prostaglandin synthesis. Again, it is safe and non-hormonal, non-contraceptive, and associated with mean reduction in menstrual blood loss by 30%. And its disadvantages are GI ulceration, renal impairment, so they should be kept in mind. Then we can give combined oral contraceptive pills, COCPs. They are widely used for the treatment of menorrhagia and they reduce bleeding and provide contraception. So here you should keep in mind that if the patient wishes to conceive, then you should not go for COCP, and it is associated with increased risk of venous thromboembolism, stroke, cardiovascular diseases. Again, the fourth option is levonorgestrel intrauterine system. It has revolutionized the treatment of heavy menstrual bleeding. What it does is that after insertion, it produces progesterone, right? This progesterone increases the progesterone in the blood, so increases the negative feedback. As a result, the level of FSH and LH is decreased, leading to decrease in bleeding. It is associated with the mean reduction in menstrual blood loss by 95% by 1 year, and it is highly effective alternative to surgical treatment with very fewer side effects. Okay, but there are some disadvantages to this levonorgestrel intrauterine system, that irregular menses for the first 3 to 6 months after insertion, and it is not suitable for the female who wish to conceive, as it is a contraceptive method And there are some progestogenic side effects that we should keep in mind and counsel the patient for, that is breast tenderness, acne, and ovarian cysts, etc. But overall, it is highly effective and highly effective alternative to surgical treatment especially. Then we go for surgical treatment. Surgical treatment, we have a few options. The indications for surgical treatment are failure to respond to medical treatment and patient is certain that her family is complete. Surgical options are endometrial ablation and hysterectomy. Endometrial ablation, it involves the destruction of the basal layer of endometrium to prevent its regeneration, and it is considered to be so successful by some authorities that all women with heavy menstrual bleeding should be encouraged to consider it before opting for hysterectomy, because hysterectomy is a very complicated procedure, right? So it should be considered before hysterectomy. And ablation is suitable for women with a uterus no bigger than 10 weeks size and with fibroids less than 3 centimeters. And there are two techniques for this. There is first generation technique and the second generation technique. And the complication for endometrial ablations are hemorrhage, which is most common infection, uterine perforation, then hysterectomy. It involves the removal of the uterus, right? It is the only guaranteed cure for heavy menstrual bleeding. And but trials have shown higher morbidity, recovery, and financial costs compared to endometrial ablation. Okay, here for hysterectomy there are again some indication. You have to consider the age of the patient. Is her family complete, and if the medical treatment has failed, surgical endometrial ablation has failed, then only then you should go for hysterectomy. In hysterectomy, we have two types: total hysterectomy. In total hysterectomy, the uterine cervix is also removed, and in subtotal hysterectomy, the uterine cervix is retained, but it is quicker and has low risk of bladder injury. What are the methods? Then we have abdominal hysterectomy, vaginal hysterectomy, which is the route of choice, or laparoscopic hysterectomy. What if the patient presents with heavy menstrual bleeding and it is caused by fibroids? Then what are our surgical options? The surgical options here are uterine artery embolization, transvaginal resection of transcervical resection of fibroid, and myomectomy if the patient have heavy menstrual bleeding with fibroids. Okay. Then we have a scenario here that a patient who comes to the emergency with acute and severe heavy menstrual bleeding, right? The patient here complains of acute and severe heavy menstrual bleeding. So how are we going to manage it? First of all, admit the patient and take her detailed history and perform examination with pelvic examination, abdominal examination. Then maintain a large bore IV cannula and start IV fluid as she is losing a large amount of blood. Send blood for workup, send for CBC, coagulation profile, biochemistry, and test for blood transfusion. Give oral tranexamic acid, but if she is having a very severe blood loss, then go for IV tranexamic acid. As soon as she is a bit also add high dose progesterone to arrest bleeding. As soon as she stabilizes a bit, then go for transvaginal ultrasound, and when the patient is stabilized, then go for further workup and management. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment section down below. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.